Greetings of love, peace, health, happiness, and prosperity. This is Dr. Akilah from Celestial Healing Wellness Center, and today I'm going to do a fibroid question and answer video for a lot of my YouTube subscribers. I've been getting some emails as well as some private messages with questions, and I will answer the question, but I think to myself, this would be great if everyone heard this question and heard my answer. So I came up with an idea to do a video about these questions. So let's go ahead and begin, because I got 6 questions here, and trust me, the answers are not going to be really that short. So let's begin. Okay, so when I read off these questions, I'm just going to read the person's first name. I'm not going to give their email address, or I'm not even going to give their profile name nor their last name, just their first name, and I will follow up with their question. So the first question is by Susan, and Susan writes, "Dear Dr. Akilah, I have heard and read on the internet that gluten causes fibroids, or that it causes fibroids to grow. Is this true?" No, it's not true. Gluten has nothing to do with fibroids. As a matter of fact, bread doesn't have anything to do with fibroids. I know people, I don't know who are telling you this, why they're telling you this, but even with American bread that is full of additives and preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, bleached flour, even with all that junk in the bread, it's not enough to cause the growth of fibroids, and it doesn't cause fibroids at all. It has nothing to do with it. It's apples and oranges. Now, even though this stuff is not necessarily good for you, it's really the less of the evil. It's not the bread that's the problem. It's what you put in between the bread that's the problem. Don't worry about the bread. Worry about what you're putting in between the bread. That is what you should take into consideration when you want to know what type of foods you're consuming that is causing health problems, including uterine fibroids. So we have the second question. This is from Straquita. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I am not, please accept my apologies beforehand. She says, "I saw your womb wellness herbal product on your website. How many bottles do I need to buy to shrink my fibroids?" Now, good question, because I get this question a lot in my emails. How many do I take to shrink my fibroids, and how many bottles, and will this really work? The answer is, womb wellness is not created to shrink fibroids. It has nothing to do with shrinking your fibroids. If you have fibroids, the womb wellness herb that I have on sale on my website does not shrink your fibroids. It doesn't even say that. If you were to read the description of how the herb supplement was created by Hilda and myself, it was created to prevent the fibroids from coming back, or for those who think they're going to get fibroids, to prevent it as well. But what happened was, the womb wellness supplement was created for women who have had a myomectomy, or who have shrink their fibroids through either my program or another naturopath or herb specialist or a certified health professionals program, and they want to make sure it doesn't come back. Well, this is what womb wellness is for. Womb wellness does not shrink fibroids. And actually, there is no one herb that's going to shrink fibroids, and I'm going to get into that later, because that's another question that's on this list. But the womb wellness is to prevent fibroids from growing back after you have had a myomectomy, or to prevent fibroids from growing back after you have shrink them completely using natural methods. Okay, now we have our third question. This question comes from Macy. Macy writes, "I have seen several herbal supplements online that claims to shrink fibroids. The information is very overwhelming. I'm sure you are familiar with most of them. It would be great if you can point me in the right direction. of letting me know which herbal supplement out there on the market really shrinks my fibroids. Okay, this was the question I was talking about when I was addressing the womb wellness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's a shocker. Ready for this? There is no one particular herbal supplement or herbal combination that will shrink everyone's fibroid. Sorry, I will put this to the test. I will challenge anyone. If anyone says this herb will shrink your fibroids, let me just tell you something. They are lying to you, because herbs don't work like that. There's no one size fit all herb, okay? Not only that, but fibroids, to shrink fibroids is a lifestyle change. If you think you're going to take a herbal supplement and still eat what you want to eat, drink what you want to drink, think what you want to think, and mistreat your vagina the way you want to mistreat it and think that you're going to shrink your fibroids, hey, guess what? I have somebody that's going to sell you some land in Nigeria from a Nigerian prince, okay? That's just how foolish you are to think that. It's not possible. Let me just tell you something about herbs. To say that this knows your diet intake, it knows what size your fibroid is, it knows how many you have, it knows where they're located. It also, to say that this herb also knows your past history, if you had an abortion, if you had miscarriage, if you were raped, it knows these things to actually channel in and focus on why you have fibroids in the first place. Please, no, there is no such thing. You have to go to a naturopathic doctor, a master herbalist, or a natural health care professional who has experience in shrinking fibroids, because it's not all about herbs, okay? It's not all about that. That's just one of the many things you need to use to shrink them. You have to also mainly deal with this here. This is one of the reasons why you have fibroids. It could be something from the past with emotions, or it could deal with this right here. What are you eating that's high in estrogen? What are you eating that's causing the fibroids to grow? What are you drinking that's causing the fibroids to grow? How many do you have? If you have a fibroid that's 14 centimeters and someone else have a fibroid that's 5 centimeters, guess what? You think one of these is going to work for you versus the one with the 5 centimeters? These all have to be taken into account when you shrink fibroids. There is no, I can't say it enough, there is no one-stop shop for fibroids. Every woman is different. Every woman has a different past. Every woman has a different psychology. Every woman has different uterus, a different fibroid, different sizes, different numerics. Some women have 1 fibroid, some women have 8. Okay, some women have them growing on the outside, some women have them growing on the inside. Some women want to have children, some women don't. You have to take this into account. Some women don't get but 4 hours of sleep, others sleep all day long. Some have anemia, some don't. Some have heavy bleeding, some don't. Do you see what I'm going here with this? It's not a herb that's going to focus on every woman out there that has a fibroid. You need a live human being who is, one, experienced in this and who is familiar with the different situations and circumstances that requires fibroids to grow inside a woman's uterus. I can write up a program to shrink Macy's fibroid, but guess what? Macy's fibroid program is going to be much different than Susan's. Different herbs, different food, different diet, different everything. It's not going to be the same for everybody. And you need a person to lead you in the right direction, to show you which herbs work for you, what you need to stop doing. Listen to what you're eating, modify that if you need to. I have some clients who have a great diet. Some, emphasis on the some. Some clients clients have a great diet, but something else is going on with them emotionally. That has to be dealt with. And you can't do that with an herb. You can only do that with a live person. So if you don't come see me, come see a go see a naturopathic doctor, master herbalist, or a healthcare professional who knows this stuff, who knows that it's not all about throwing herbs at the problem. It's dealing with the incomplete body, the mind, the emotional body, the spirit, as well as the physical body, to get rid of the fibroid. You do that and you will never waste your money on countless herbs that will not work for you, because you'll have a professional that will lead you in the right direction, point to you out, and tell you what herbs fit your scenario, your circumstances, your health status to shrink your fibroids. Okay, so now we have question number 4. I told you these answers were not going to be short. Question number 4. This is coming from Tanya. Tanya writes, I have been suffering from fibroids for over 2 years now, and now I am currently at a stage where I am desperate. I tried the herbs sold overseas that claim to shrink fibroids, but they didn't work. Really? I followed some fibroid shrinking steps from a couple of websites online, and they still won't go away. What am I doing wrong, or do I have the type of fibroid that can't be cured naturally? Okay, this goes like with my last question. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. You have to unite with a naturopath or a healthcare professional, natural healthcare professional, who can show you how to shrink your fibroids under your lifestyle. You have to alter your lifestyle. It's not about the herbs. They have nothing to do with it. It's just that basically your entire lifestyle has to be analyzed and revamped or revised so that it will create a habitat inside your body where fibroids can exist. That's how you shrink fibroids. And it's not that you have a fibroid that can't be cured naturally. There's no such thing as that. You know, fibroids grow from your lifestyle and the things you're doing, thinking and eating, drinking and everything else of all the above. But they can shrink by just altering all of that based upon what you're doing and what you're not doing. So here's what I always tell my clients. The reason why medical doctors, most medical doctors, let me rephrase that. The reason why most medical doctors do not like naturopathic doctors is that we don't keep our clients dependent upon us. You know, we don't deal with the same ailment years and years and years and years and years. Every woman that comes to me for fibroids, not only do I teach her how to shrink her fibroids, not her mother's fibroids, not her best friend's fibroids, her fibroids. I teach her how to shrink and eliminate completely her fibroids. Let's say, for instance, 5 years down the line, she goes back into the same old habit, start doing the same old things, thinking the same way, drinking and eating the same foods, or consuming the harmful liquids, as well as the foods that are causing the fibroids to grow, or that's caused the fibroids in the first place. She will remember everything I've taught her and go back to that program that that we implemented many years before then, and do the whole thing again. She doesn't have to come to me anymore. You see what I'm saying? I never have a woman come to me twice for fibroids. You know, unless they get on the program, the symptoms from the fibroid go away, and then they just throw the fibroid program or regimen in the trash because they're not having the heavy bleeding anymore, the cramping stops, the bloating stops, the headache stops. You know, they have their life back and they think, okay, I'm fine, but they have not stayed with the program until the fibroids completely shrink away, until the fibroids are gone. Their symptoms are gone, that's all they're worried about. That's the only time I have a client come back, is because once their symptoms disappear, they feel that's all they wanted, that's all they were interested in, and they throw away the program because, hey, they feel better, they got their life back. But then 3 years down the line, the fibroids are coming bigger and badder ever, and they go, oh my God, where'd I put that regimen? Where'd I put that regimen? Ugh, looks like I'm going to have to come back to Dr. Akilah again. And that's the only time that I ever have a repeat client or a repeat customer for fibroid shrinkage. But when you're taught this the first time for your fibroids, provided that 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you go back into the same habits that promote fibroids to grow again, then you already got the remedy. And this is what you need to know. Once you know it, and you can move on. The trick of all this is for naturopaths is that we have to go through years of dealing with so many women. With me, I dealt with women all around the world: Australia, Africa, Asia, India, Germany, Spain, all of these places, and of course the United States, Brazil, and other places, where I teach women how to deal with their fibroid under their lifestyle depending on their environment. So when I've been doing this for 18 years now, and I got it down packed. So this is the reason why it's easy for me to do this and help those, because I'm familiar with the different and the many circumstances. So what I'm saying to you is, Tanya, is that once you learn or once you're taught, either by me or by another natural healthcare professional or naturopathic doctor, you can learn how to do this, and provided that you go back into the same habits to make the fibroids grow back, you know what to do. You don't have to worry about it, okay?